Hi everyone, welcome to Simplilearn. Today we will learn how to build DAX or data analytics expressions in Power BI. For that, let's consider a small problem statement, or in other words, a use case. So here it goes. In a mid-sized car dealership network, analyzing profit margins and sales trends across multiple dealerships and car models was a challenge. The raw data was scattered across the three datasets: dealership information, data inventory, and transactional sales. Manually calculating key metrics like profit margins, top performing dealerships, and seasonal sales patterns was time consuming and error prone. By leveraging DAX in Power BI, the problem was resolved with ease. Measures like profit margin, total revenue, and revenue contribution percentage were created to dynamically calculate insights. Relationships between datasets enable seamless data integration. Interactive visuals allow decision making to filter and drill down into key insights by dealership, car model, or even time period. This automation reduced analysis time by over 50%, providing faster, more accurate business insights. Power BI's DAX capabilities transformed a data challenge into a strategic advantage for decision making. That said, if these are the type of videos you'd like to watch, then hit that like and subscribe buttons and the bell icon to get notified. Just for a quick info, if you want to upskill yourself, master data science and data analytics skills, and land your dream job or grow in your career, then you must explore Simplilearn's cohort of various data science and data analytics programs: Python, machine learning, data visualization, generative AI, and over a dozen others. That's not all. You also get the opportunity to work on multiple projects and learn from industry experts working in top tier product companies and data companies, and also academics from top universities. After completing these courses, thousands of learners have transitioned into a data science or data analytics role as a fresher, or moved on to a higher paying job profiles. If you are passionate about making your career in this field, then make sure to check out the link in the pinned comment and description box below to find a data science and data analytics program that fits your experience and areas of interest. Now, without further delay, let's get started with a similar sales use case just like the one we discussed before. So before the demonstration part, let's understand what exactly is DAX in Power BI. So let's say you have a sales data set with you and your manager is expecting you to give you some sales insights like the top performing product or the least performing product, or he or she wanted you to manage the inventory with those products which are on high demand, right? In a similar way, you had to perform some analysis, you had to perform some checkings on your data. But if you are checking like about 10,000 rows of data, then it might be a little difficult for you. What if you had a SQL like capacity in your Power BI, SQL like a query thing in your Power BI, which can work for you by just taking some simple queries from you, like summing up a few details on the revenue, summing up a few details on the profits, and also calculating which is the highest performing product, which has highest demand. You can count the orders, which is that single product which has the highest count of orders, right? Sounds a little too interesting, and it helps you in real time as well. So, data analysis expressions or DAX is a single formula expression language used in analysis services like Power BI, Power Pivot, etc. DAX formulas include functions, operators, and values to perform advanced calculations and queries on data in related tables and columns which are in tabular data models, right? So you can perform some aggregate functions like minimum, maximum, sum, count, etc. And after that, you can also perform some mathematical operations like basic mathematics, sum, difference, and division, multiplication, etc. And in few scenarios, you can also apply some logical functions based on if condition, switch condition, and many more. Like if you wanted to find out or categorize the sales in three different categories: minimum sales, maximum sales, and medium sales. Let's say you got 10 total orders, and out of which there is a single product which got 5 orders, and there is a product which got about 3 orders, and there's that last third product which got about 2 orders. Then you can categorize the one with the highest orders is maximum orders, the one with lowest orders is the minimum order, and which is in between the maximum and minimum is the median number of orders, right? You can perform such DAX applications as well. So This is all performed on the DAX programming language or the expression language in Power BI. Now that we have a basic understanding of what exactly is DAX in Power BI, let's get started with a practical session where we will create our own sales dataset using generative AI, and after that we will pull that dataset onto Power BI dashboard or Power BI desktop and then begin with the DAX operations. We will prepare some use cases and we will create a DAX expression and extract the insights that we are looking for, right? I hope that's clear. Now let's switch to the generative AI and the prompt that we designed to generate a dataset of about 5,000 or 10,000 rows as per the requirement for this particular analysis. So now we are on the prompt, so we will be going to create a dataset based on customer data India, and we will be having the following columns: row ID, order ID, etc., and all the product names and everything, subcategory, traffic. Most important part. This will be the most important part. Traffic, leads, orders, quantity, price, discount, cost to company. And this is something which we will be calculating in real time. So profit is nothing but the price that we are selling a product minus the cost to company which we had spent to create that product, and what's the rate of each product, number of units sold and everything, right? And we will also give some key areas where ChatGPT needs to focus on. States for stage column will be having the Indian cities, and regions will be north, south, east, west, and some brands which are randomly chosen, and some product names as well, right? So this will be our prompt. We will just copy and paste this onto the ChatGPT, and ChatGPT will generate us the required data set. So now we are on ChatGPT. You can just place the prompt here and keep it running. It might take a couple of minutes to get this query executed and our data to be ready. So far we have already created this data and it looks something like this. So we will be having about 10,000 entries of data. So we have each row ID here, and also a specific order ID and the order date and ship date. And apart from that, we have also got a ship mode, all the details including the traffic, leads, order, price, discount, cost to company, and rate of each product. So far so good. Now we can proceed with the DAX analytics in Power BI. So you can just save the data, and now we can switch to our Power BI window. So we will be having a blank report, and the data that we created is in Excel format. So you can just click the import data from Excel. So you can import data from various types of sources. It can be a web page, it can be an Excel document, it can be a comma separated value, it can be a website data or anything, right? As long as it has data in it, even if it's a database from different varieties, if it's an Oracle DB, if it's a Cloud DB, you can pull it, right? As long as it is a data, you can pull it onto the Power BI window. And we have a separate tutorial on how to load data from various data sources. Now that we are working on DAX, so we have the data somewhere here. So this is the data that we'll be working with, which is a CSV. Just open it. There you go, you have the preview. So these will be your rows and columns. This is a quick preview. Check the data type and everything. If you have any issues with the data, you can proceed with data transformation to check on that and refine the data in the way you want, right? You can arrange the columns in places. You can also calculate some things. You can perform some mathematical calculations and get the data set ready. And apart from that, if you wanted to add a couple of new columns, you can also do that. And if you're looking for an exclusive tutorial on transformation of data, we have that in our tutorials list as well. Data transformation in Power BI, you can go check for the reference. Now, so far we are having a healthy data and we can quickly proceed with DAX, right? So I'll just select the load option here. The data will be loaded shortly. There you go. We have successfully loaded all the 10,000 rows of data. And here you have all the columns that you're looking for. And on the left side, you can see we have a report view, which we are currently on. And here we have a table view where we can have a preview of the data set, and also we have data models. So data model will be in use if you got your data located in multiple data sources. Let's say, if not multiple sources, let's say you have the same data segregated in 3 different data sets, like you have an orders data, and you have a customer's data, and you have a dealership data, right? Then this is the place where you can go check your data models. Right now, everything is in one single source of sheet, so you have one single model here. In instances where you have multiple sources, like Part of the data might be in a SQL database, part of the data might be in a Excel workbook, right? You can establish a relationship between those two data sources. That's when the data modeling comes into picture, and we have a dedicated tutorial on that part as well, data modeling and star schema, or you can also call it as the snowflake schema in Power BI. You can have a quick look on that front as well. So far so good. So we have the data set here and we are on the report view right here. Now we can begin with the DAX applications. Now you can add any DAX application or DAX expression using this particular thing here, which is called as data expression. So you can just click on it and go ahead with writing. But before you go ahead with writing manually the DAX expression, I'd like to show you a quick tutorial about quick measure. So basically DAX is nothing but a measure, right? You can also call it as a measure. So for quick calculations, you can go with the second window here, which is having a flash logo on the calculator logo. And if you just expand it, here you can see some wide range of applications. Average per category, max, minimum, weighted average per category, filtered value, sales, right? It's basically giving you some recommendations for quick calculations. If you want to perform some time intelligence, year-on-year sales, quarter-on-quarter performance, you can go with it. And if you want to add some mathematical applications like addition, subtraction, everything else is really available here. And if you're going with some text related or pattern matching operations, you can also go with this text operations here. So it'll give you a quick way to just design your DAX. And right now, let's proceed with the manual way of for the learning purpose, let's go with the manual way of designing a DAX and understand how exactly DAX functions in Power BI. So far, so good. Now, let's begin with our use cases. Now, let's say we wanted to find out, let's go for the table view. So here we have a column which is related to quantity. Now, we don't know how many number of or what's the quantity of items we shipped on an overall scale in the year 2023 to 2024 or 24 to 25. We wanted to calculate that part. So to do that, let's go to the report view and create a new measure. And you can measure or name it as. So basically it comes out as a measure by default, but you can give your own customized name for your measure. So we can call it as total orders. And you can just give a sum function here, summation of, here you can see multiple columns, right? So we want to check the quantity. So I think we named it wrong. No problem. We can customize it again. So we wanted to check the total quantity, sum of the quantity of products we deliver. So instead of orders, we can name it as total quantity. There you go. Now that we have no errors in this particular query, we can proceed. Now it's committed and we have a new measure here, total quantity. And also, if you want to avoid confusion, you can also drop a note here. This gives me total quantity of units ordered or total number of units ordered. There you go. Commit and you have a new measure there. Let's pull up a visualization for that. So I'd like to go with the bar graph, and apart from that, let's pull down the data for product name as x-axis, and on our y-axis will be the newly created total quantity, right? So here we have a brief understanding of what's the product which has the highest number of sales here, right? So 4,000 plus in quantity was ordered for this particular product, which is lying in the first place, this one, right? Now this is how you can make use of DAX. Apart from this use case, let's proceed with a few more on the line. Let's proceed with a similar one. I'll create a whole new measure and it will be named as total revenue. So you can see I'm not following the underscore thing here. You can if you want, but it's not SQL, so we can continue without having the underscore or combining both the keywords here. So total revenue, you can write this in format of which looks something like this, or you can just place a spacebar and write this. If you were on SQL, then that could be mandatory. But since we are not on SQL, we can take it a bit little easier. So sum of revenue. So let's check the column names. Price. So we have named revenue as price, not a problem. So that's the one we're looking for. Close your parenthesis. And if you want to comment, you can give a comment here. This gives me total revenue made. There you go. To commit this, just click on this button here, commit, and there you go. You have successfully created a new DAX, or you have successfully created a new measure. Now, proceeding ahead, let's create a new visual for that again. You can create a matrix, and you can drag some categories, which are the otherwise named as the company names, which we created using our ChatGPT or GenAI. Now we want to know what's the revenue made by these three categories. Now for that, you will pull the total revenue DAX which we recently created. Here you can see, so that's the total revenue, which is $27,38,133 or rupees in revenue. Now let's proceed and create another fresh DAX for cost for company. Now why do we do that? We are going to use both the existing DAX. So we already have a DAX which is for the total revenue we generated, and also we'll be creating a new DAX which will give us the total cost the company spent on creating an inventory, creating the products and making them available for the dealerships and etc. Right? Now we will be using both these DAXs and create a new DAX and find out what's the profit, so that we can basically categorize based on the companies. We have multiple brands here, so we can find out, you can pull out the data for multiple brands and find out what's the cost they spend in creating their inventory, what's the revenue they generated after selling these premium products to the dealerships, and what's the profit they made using all the three DAX that we created, right? It can be used in that way. Now let's pull up a new DAX function here, and you can name it as total cost spent for the from the company, and you can create a sum function, and you can pull the column cost to company here and enter, or you can also provide kind of shift enter and comment it as total cost spent by company, right? And you can commit this, and similarly it's been created. So if you want a visualization, we can also do that. We can pull up a new tab here, and you can add those things onto the tab. So we will be pulling category on first, and then we will be pulling the newly created DAX, which is the total cost spent, and you'll be adding it here onto the table exactly where it should be. Now this is the amount of cost the company spent, which is 20,000 or $20,52,335. Now we will be calculating a new DAX, which will be done using the existing DAX here, right? So we will be creating a new DAX, which is here, and you can name it as profit made. And now we will be pulling two DAXs, total revenue, press tab to select, minus total cost spent. You can do it this way, or you can also, I'll just copy this. You can do it this way, or you can also pull up the subtraction function or the difference function maybe. Or maybe not, we have some issues here, not a problem. Let's proceed with the generic method, what we know. And you can just comment it as calculating profit. So maybe we were supposed to use the calculate function here and then provide so we have a calculate function here, so we should be using that function and then give the difference, the different columns that we want to include, and provide the sum, or provide the kind of operation we want to perform, that is subtraction. So that's when it comes out. But anyways, this is good enough. Now we will commit this particular DAX, and we will have a new table working on it, and that's done. Profit made. This is our new DAX here. Now let's pull a new table, and you can add it here, and again pull the category and pull the profit made, which is here. And now you have a fully functional column which gives you an entire report of what's the cost spent, what's the revenue made and what's the profit made. In case if you want to add this particular data onto your dataset, you can also do that. All you have to do is just go to this particular table, and you can also think of add a column here, new column. Now you have it. You can provide a, okay, let's name it as profit 2 for eliminating confusions, equals to, you can select the price column, or you can just use the DAX, press tab to select, enter, and you have it here, right? You can even include the DAX formula and the outputs of the intermediate results of the DAX that you prepared to be as your new column in a table data set. Right, that's how you do it. And now let's go back to the report view, and let's try to explore a few more use cases. Now let's say we have 3 different categories here, right? So 1, 2, 3. Now let's say we wanted to divide this profit they made in form of percentage. Here you have mere numbers, but we don't know, or maybe to present to a client, it might be a little more interesting if you presented it in the form of a percentage. What's the market share they have? Now let's create that DAX here. So you can straight away pull up a new DAX here, measure here, percentage of market share equals to. Now we will be using the profit DAX that we recently created, divided by total revenue DAX that we recently created. We will be using 2 different DAXs here and create a new profit share in percentage. Or you can also give it kind of a comment, modulus symbol, which indicates it's a percentage. Now you can just commit this, and again you can create a new visualization, or for this maybe we'll go with a pie chart or downward chart, and then we will pull the category, and then we will also pull the newly created DAX, which is about the percentage of market share, and you will have it here. And if you kind of expand it a little, you can see we have decimal numbers. And also, if you can see, Power BI has already helped us by providing the accurate percentage here by doing the data formatting for us. So we have about 33% by Cadbury, and about 33.52% from ITC, and lastly 33.35% from Nestle. Right, so this is how you do data formatting in Power BI DAX. Now let's keep it aside, and let's proceed with a couple of more use cases. So those are a few instances on how you can use exactly the data analysis expressions in Power BI and extract some valuable insights on the number of leads you get, number of orders you receive, what's the traffic, what's the revenue, profit, and cost you spent to maintain the inventory, and a lot more than that, right? So those were a few use cases on how to use DAX in Power BI. And that brings us to the end on this tutorial on DAX, or data analysis expressions in Power BI. If you have any queries regarding any of the topics covered in this session, or if you require the resources like the dataset that we created, or the prompt that we used, or PPT, or any of the workbooks that we used, then please feel free to let us know in the comment section below, and our team of experts will be happy to assist you at the earliest. Until next time, thank you for watching, and stay tuned for more from Simplilearn.
Staying ahead in your career requires continuous learning and upskilling. Whether you're a student aiming to learn today's top skills or a working professional looking to advance your career, we've got you covered. Explore our impressive catalog of certification programs in cutting-edge domains, including data science, cloud computing, cybersecurity, AI, machine learning, or digital marketing. Designed in collaboration with leading universities and top corporations, and delivered by industry experts, choose any of our programs and set yourself on the path to career success. Click the link in the description to know more.
Hi there, if you like this video, subscribe to the Simplilearn YouTube channel and click here to watch similar videos. To nerd up and get certified, click here.